What's new, fat hay?
Today on Action Figure Times, Doc Owen and the League of Extraordinary Toy Men, we're going to be looking at Mattel's Arkham City 2-pack featuring Batman and Two-Face. Hi, I'm Doc Owen with Action Figure Times. Today we're going to be looking at the Batman Arkham City 2-pack. Now, I know that you've asked me to do the Arkham Asylum from the first series and the first video game. I am going to do that. We're kind of putting the cart before the horse in a sense, doing the Arkham City stuff, even though the video game is not out. It's a very cool 2-pack and featuring Batman and Two-Face. And why am I talking to you about it and not telling you about it? Well, here's the thing. I started doing this review, and when I did, I didn't have the sound on, so I've already ripped it out of the package. So I will go ahead and show you the package because there are some cool stuff here. Obviously the guys they're right here, and we'll get to them in a second, but very nice packaging. It's got kind of, I guess it does make it a little bit easier to show you. Got some backdrop from the game itself, a bat signal up there. That's actually kind of neat. On the sides, and now that I've ripped it apart, I don't know where they went. Well, the sides had some really neat artwork. Maybe I can find a package and show you that. Now, on the back is where I think they have some really cool stuff. They've got Two-Face in the forefront and Batman right there. Now, here I really like this artwork. It's actually Two-Face as Uncle Sam. Now that's a figure I want to have. Wouldn't that be cool to have a Two-Face figure dressed as Uncle Sam? I mean, that would just be awesome. Now, let's go ahead and get on with these. Now, these are from Mattel. These are not DC Direct, and they are in the 6-inch scale. So these should be somewhat comparable. Now, I've got a couple things back here. I've got a couple of the... I have to be watchful with this knife because it's very sharp. They have a couple things holding them in. Let's start with Two-Face. This is actually, from what I saw, the sculpt is actually a very nice figure as far as is the appearance and stuff. It's a nice, you know, it's got the Two-Face side, then we've got the Harvey side. Now, he's got this arm, the sleeve is actually burnt off. I don't necessarily see Two-Face walking around. He's usually fairly well dressed, but maybe it got ripped off or something. Okay, I can buy that. He's got his wrist washed on there, so that's kind of neat. Now, to my mind, this hand is not as scarred as it should be, and we'll look at that when it's close up. This side has a black suit on that is somewhat damaged and deformed. He's kind of got a three-piece look on here that's kind of neat. This is an okay sculpt. I actually, we'll look at it close up and I'll give you more of my thoughts on it. He's holding a coin in his hand, so that's kind of neat. The white suit, it's kind of neat. He's wearing spats that are, you know, kind of the reverse colored that are kind of nice. We'll look at the articulation as it gets close up. And his suit coat, it does not open, but it looks, this is a fairly decent figure. Now, I actually do like it. Now, one thing, I tell you what, before we go on to Batman, this is the comic version that was a repaint of the either the DC superheroes or the S3 version. And so you can tell that he's much stockier. Now, hopefully by the time I do the close-ups, I can find the black and white version of this, which was the original version. But you can kind of see he's a whole lot stockier, got the wilder hair, much more scarred face. This is more in line. I mean, there's no sense putting hair on it if he's not like that in the video game, so I can't really fault him from there. And one thing I didn't like about this figure is they didn't continue this pinstripe all the way down, but that's okay. But you can see that he is significantly broader and taller. You can see the kind of his breadth right there. The suit looks a little bit more normal on the new figure. And so we're going to see how he fits in with the Classics line. Now, if you look at, this is, let's see. This is a DC Universe Classics Batman. If I go with this Batman, I can't really go with this Two-Face because this makes Two-Face look much taller than Batman. Which, you know, that'll never happen. Now, let's go ahead and look at the main man himself. He's got a couple of these things as well, so we'll go ahead and just cut those right open. All right. Okay. Right away, I can tell he's got the armored look from the video game. That's good. He's got the armor, you know, the armored gauntlets. Got the armored shin guards, which I think if you were going to be Batman, you'd actually really need. I love the large Batman symbol on his uniform. I like that. I like the fact that it doesn't have the gold oval. I like the fact that they didn't give him a Batman belt buckle. That it actually looks more just like a normal utility belt. Now this utility belt does go all the way around. Now I've got the arm twisted here because I'm not able to, yeah, and we'll look at the articulation a little bit close up. I can already tell I don't have as much head movement as I would like. Now when you compare the Batman with this Batman with Two-Face, they look to be about the same size. Okay, it's hard to tell if one is taller or not. But obviously this Batman, he's not as thick at the waist, but he's not wearing an overcoat either. Now this is the DC Universe Classics Batman, and you can see he is bigger. I actually like this Batman. I think this is an extremely cool Batman. I think they did a very good job with this. When we do it up close, you can see kind of the texture of the paint and the bat symbol. I think that really looks good. So here we are looking at Two-Face up close. Fairly decent sculpt on both sides. I do think that Harvey could have used a little bit more character. Now you can kind of see here, it's nice how they did the teeth there. That looks good. Now I haven't seen the game, so I don't know how realistic this is, but man, it does look sharp. Now I did find my other Two-Face It was actually from, I think it was probably an S3 sculpt, not the predecessor to the DC Universe Classics. Now I do like the black and white tie. I like the suit on the older one better. And quite frankly, even though their size, and you can go to aftimes.com and look at the pictures, even though their sizes are different and the new Harvey is much larger, I actually think that I like the older Harvey better. And I'll get into that as we go. Now, in looking at him, I do prefer the tie. They did do some cool stuff. You can see with the that they have the scarred vest underneath there. They have kind of the black and white tie, not more gray and white. The uniform, his suit goes all the way down. You can see it's scarred. They have where the sleeve has been ripped off, and you have that there. You can see the skin, and really the paint application on this is actually very, very cool. They really did a good job portraying, you know, kind of the burnt look. But then this is when it all falls apart and where I really go after the old one better. This guy has no ankle joints at all. His knee joint comes to about there. Lifting the leg comes about there. His wrist will turn. His elbow will move, but his shoulder won't even come out at all. Now, and it's pretty much true on the other side. On this side, you can see he's got a little coin, so he can determine your fate. He does have the leg twist, but, I mean, to be honest with you, I've had trouble standing him because his ankles wouldn't move. The back of the figure, you can kind of see there. And really, they did a good job on some of these aspects. But to me, if I want a figure that I can pose, and I'm going to get that out of the old figure, even though that is more of the comic look than not. So, all in all, for this figure, I would have to say that it is a very nice looking figure, but ultimately, he's not really the Two-Face that I would choose to display a great deal. So here we are looking at the Batman figure. You know, I actually would really, really like this figure. I do wish that he had more head motion. The face is fine to me. I hope they would release a version with him with just the whited out eyes, because that's really the way I like Batman. This uniform is very cool. I hope you can see on the camera how textured it is, much like in the game. I think that's very, very neat. He's got a cool belt that goes all the way around, and that's very, very cool. He does have a chest joint where you can move him back and forth. Now, his arms are where things start to get a little strange. First off, if you look at him like he is, see how far his arms are out from his body? I can't get them, no matter how much I rotate the shoulders or anything else, to go further in, which is kind of strange to me, because the older Batman, the S3 sculpt, he had lats that were worthy of a Masters of the Universe figure, and yet he could bring his arms close to his sides. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see right here? Now look at those lats. You see those? I mean, that's a Prince Adam looking thing right there. And yet he can bring his arms in close. Now, with this one, I can't do that. He's perpetually got his arms out. And to me, honestly, it almost ruins the figure for me for display purposes and stuff. I'm not taking away anything of the toy itself, but I do wish that I could bring his arms in and pose him a little bit different. Now, here's another thing that's weird on his arms. Looking at his right arm, you can see he's got the gauntlet. It looks good, nice gloves. You can even see he's got some kind of knuckle protectors there. He's got a nice forearm guard. You can see how it rotates in here and to secure it. But on the other side, it almost looks like they put it on backwards. His forearm grip is on the interior. His it's on the outside. It's got the two hold-on things, and that's the way it works. Now you might say, well, you've got it twisted wrong. I've tried to twist this thing over and over. I've tried to, you know, if I rotate it like that and put the gauntlets completely up, I mean, it doesn't work at all. It's got to go like that, and it's just too weird. I like the boots. They look good. There's still not really enough articulation in here for my taste. He's got plenty of joints, though. He does have an ankle joint, which I really am very grateful for. The cape is really cool. It's nice and wide. You can go to aftimes.com and see the shots of it. But all in all, I do like this figure. I would like it a whole lot better if he could bring his arms to his sides, and it made it a whole lot easier for me to pose. Well, this is Doc Owen with Action Figure Times, reminding you to be extraordinary. Thanks for looking in. Hope you've enjoyed this look at the Arkham City Mattel 2-pack of Batman and Two-Face.